Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel, and welcome back to Scotland. We are back on Lawfolds, and this is episode 50, the big 50. Can you believe it? I, yeah, 50 episodes, incredible. But I tell you what, even though we did a map restart on this map, you might remember that I think maybe I started playing this map before the Seasons mod came out, and I think I was alternating this map with maybe Goldcrest Valley, perhaps. And the Seasons mod came out, and I had to restart the map because of that. And so we were maybe, I don't know, 10 episodes or so in. So really, I guess in earnest, with the Seasons mod, we've probably produced about 40 episodes on this map, and we've seen all the changes or all the seasons come and go. We are now in the very first day of summer, so early summer. It's early. May not be so bright, but it is early at just after 5 a.m. I tell you what, the beauty of Farm Sim 17, the beauty of the Seasons mod, and certainly the beauty of this map, Lawfolds, it is worth getting up early for. It is worth working, starting in the early morning hours, and it's also worth working until the sun is setting because I don't know, this map is just absolutely gorgeous with those things. I mean, look at the sky, look at the sunrise over there. And I'm just very, I don't know, I'm just very impressed that I've had the opportunity to play this map, and I've had the opportunity to play this map with the Seasons mod, and I'm just very thankful for the Seasons mod development team for allowing me to do this and allowing me to showcase this map for you. I'm just very, very appreciative of that, and I think that my channel growth and everything is down to, partially down to the Seasons mod, partially down to all you kind folks that have been with me from the very early days, and I suppose even down to myself for putting out or trying to put out good quality content on a regular basis. So we are, look at the shadows. The shadows are just simply beautiful here on this map. I really can't say enough about it. And I really hope that Stussy or Stussy, however he pronounces his name, I really hope he works on another map and releases it, because I tell you what, if he were to do that, I would definitely be playing. I would definitely be playing that map for sure. So we are going to do a little bit of spraying today, and I tried to throw together a live stream, as I may have indicated in a previous episode, and I was going to do that on Saturday, the 22nd of April, and I actually did. I actually did put a live stream up. Um, it was it was riddled with problems, though, kind of from the get-go. And part of that was because I was using a streaming service called Restream.io, and the purpose of that is it allows you to send your stream um, from your computer through OBS, is the broadcasting software that I use to both record my Let's Plays, which I'm doing right now. I'm just recording direct to hard drive, or it allows me to stream my gameplay, and that's what I use for YouTube. And so Restream.io again is a service that you change your OBS settings, and you basically send your feed or your signal, your stream, to Restream.io, and then in Restream.io you've customized it, and you've put in your Twitch settings, your YouTube settings. If you want to stream to Hitbox, there's a number of let me get out of these trees here. There's a number of streaming services out there. Well, before I really got into doing Let's Plays on YouTube, and this would be in the late September, October timeframe of 2016, I was doing a lot of live streaming to Twitch. I've actually had two different Twitch channels before in my history of internet gaming and streaming. And the first one I had an issue, Twitch had an issue, something or another had an issue, and I basically lost that account. I didn't do anything wrong. It wasn't that I violated terms of service or anything like that. I just basically lost access to it. And I'm not the only one. There were quite a few other people that had the same problem. And I had accumulated about probably 500 or so subscribers on that channel, and I was mostly doing flight sim. I was mostly doing flight sim streaming, and it was great because you could stream, and also with Twitch, as long as you're during the live streams, you can play music. So I could set up a kind of a jukebox type setup within using some other services that I'm not going to necessarily talk about right now because it's not really applicable to the general audience. But people could make song requests, and basically it was just streaming the audio from YouTube videos, essentially is what that was and what that did. And so let me just pull up GPS and let me just set this up right quick. Okay, and we're off. So anyway, you could do this, and I had developed, or I had created a channel of about 500 or so subscribers, and again, I was mostly doing flight sim stuff. Well, then this issue occurred, which basically I lost my channel. Basically, my channel just evaporated as if it was never there. And so around that same time, I had sort of been branding my blogging efforts, and you might, if you know anything about me and sort of my history of sort of the whole new media stuff, and new media is kind of defined as blogging and vlogging, video logging, streaming, all that kind of stuff. I had been sort of branding that under Grizzly Bear Sims, and so as my original Twitch account sort of evaporated, vanished into the thin cloud air of Twitch, I said, okay, no big deal. Well, it was a big deal because I lost all my subscribers, but no big deal. I'm going to set up a new account under Grizzly Bear Sims, and then I started doing more or less the same thing. Started doing flight sim, live streaming and stuff, and I had got that channel up to about, I don't know, 65, 75 subscribers, dropping the bucket from the almost 500 or so. And then I sort of used my Grizzly Bear Sims Twitch channel to do live streaming when myself and a few other of my trucking friends would do trucking on the multiplayer server, either for ETS2 or ATS. And I didn't narrate it. I didn't talk. I didn't do anything like that per se. Basically, I used it as sort of a dash cam. Okay, so if you've done any trucking on the multiplayer server, then you know there are a ton of trolls out there. Not all of them are young kids, so I'm not going to blame our young people for this at all. There's some older people that should know better out there that are trying to cause problems for others. And anyway, I would just live stream this, and I had text going across the top that just said Grizzly Bear Trucking dash cam. And essentially I would run this dash cam anytime that I was on the multiplayer server. And then the cool thing about Twitch is that your live streams are archived for a short period of time. And I would then, if I had an incident, if somebody, blocked me, rammed me, if there were, profanity, if there was something that was going on that was sort of against the terms of service for the Truckers MP multiplayer service, and it affected me or affected my friends that we were, convoying and stuff, I could basically, at a later time, usually the next day, I could just basically take that live stream, I could automatically export that to YouTube, I could go into YouTube, I could find where the incident occurred and basically mark that, and then I could file a report on Truckers MP and basically link to that video and that time slot and basically describe the incident. And the admins albeit most times it took them 3 to 5 to 7 days to actually take action. But I think I had racked up like, I had filed like 7 or 8 incident reports, and I had caused about 6 or 7 folks to get banned, um, short-term bans, like either 24 hours or a week or something like that. And please don't misunderstand me. I wasn't out there myself trolling, looking for people that was causing problems. I mean, it was literally just those that were causing problems for myself and for those of us that were trying to have fun. And of course, I mean, it would be a highly daunting task to completely clean up the Truckers MP multiplayer server from the perspective of ensuring that we got rid of all of these trolls, all of these troublemakers and everything. But it was what it was. So anyway, on Saturday the 22nd of April, I decided, well, let me feed my stream to Twitch, to these 75 or 80 or so subscribers that I have accumulated on Twitch, and try to bring them over to YouTube. And if anyone else stumbled on the Twitch live feed, obviously they're welcome to subscribe to me on Twitch, and of course come over to YouTube. As far as I'm concerned, at least at this particular point in time, YouTube is my main, that's my home. That's what I'm considering to be the place that that I will call home, that I will have as my main system of video streaming, video let's plays, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not planning on switching over to Twitch. I'm not going to do Twitch. I know that there's some guys that do Twitch only live streaming. I'm not going to do that. If I stream to Twitch, I will also be streaming to YouTube. So for those of you, if you want to go over and subscribe to my Twitch channel, you're more than welcome to do that. You'll find me under Grizzly Bear Sims, just as I am here on YouTube. But there's nothing that requires you to do that, because I will be doing both. If I do a live stream, it will either be just to YouTube, or it will be to both YouTube and Twitch. Anyway, so I had some problems getting that going, and I've spent way too much time talking about that, and not enough time. Anyway, so in this live stream, this is the funny part. So in this live stream that I did on Saturday the 22nd, my intention was to spend some time here on this map, Lawfolds. And what I wanted to do on Lawfolds was I really just wanted to mow or do grass work. I was going to mow, I was going to tedder, I was going to rake, and basically start baling. I had about 90 minutes to maybe 2 hours that I could flex my available time to, and that's what I was going to do, in a sense. And so I got started up the live stream. I immediately noticed that there was a problem with the Twitch feed, and so I just kind of said, okay, no big deal. I'm not going to mess with that. I'm not going to waste people's time trying to figure that problem out. I spent about 2 minutes trying to figure it out, and I'm like, okay, that's it. And so, by the way, I've since then fixed that problem, and it was kind of a combination of a restream issue and an issue that I had with my settings. So anyway, that's been resolved. But so I started off mowing, thinking that really I never even bothered to look at the growth chart, which is what I should have done. So my apologies there. I should have done my homework before I started the stream. But I was just, in my mind, I was thinking late spring. I think we mowed last time in late spring, and I thought, okay, I'll be able to mow. So this was the previous game day, obviously. There was nothing to mow. The mower wasn't putting any output out, and so the grass wasn't mature enough to cut. And so there went that idea. And then I'm like, okay, so then I sort of started scrambling, because I had in my mind, before I sat down to do the live stream, I had in my mind that, okay, we're going to mow, then we're going to tedder, because we needed hay, and we're going to rake, and then we're going to start baling. So that was going to be the extent of the live stream, and that was going to basically take up all the available time that I would have in doing this, which was about 90 minutes to 2 hours. And so so when that went south, when that whole idea sort of went south, I then began somewhat scrambling, trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to do to entertain these folks that have taken the time out of their Saturday to stop by my live stream and watch my live stream? So that's really where things began to get a bit shaky. So I'm like, okay. So we headed over to the sheep farm, and I needed to start moving pallets of wool that had started to accumulate, that had filled up the area. And so I went over there on the live stream again, and got in the little, I think that's a little Sammy tractor that we've got over there. Got in the little Sammy, fired it up, backed it out of the garage, looked at the front of the tractor, and I'm like, something doesn't look right here. Where are the bell forks or the pallet forks? And so I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe they had tilted, you know, completely down, and they're actually under the ground, and I just can't see it. So I messed around for a few seconds, not even sure if really the live stream really knew what I was doing. I think I kind of went silent, and I was messing about, and it's like, they're not there. The pallet forks simply are not attached to the Sammy tractor. So then I began thinking, okay, Jerry, what did you do in the last episode, or in the episode before that? Did I use that tractor somewhere else, and did I drop the pallet forks off to change out and do something else, put a bucket or something on it? And I'm like, no, I didn't do that, because we're not doing any bucket work on this map. I will tell you, I have the table manners mod turned on, just simply because I didn't want to have to mess with cleaning up after the animals on this map. I sort of got a bit burned out with that in some of the other series. So I've got table manners, that mod, and basically, if you're not sure what the table manners mod is, it just basically prevents your livestock, your pigs, your sheep, and your dairy cows from making a mess. Okay, so they essentially will not spill their food outside of their feed troughs, and therefore you don't have to go around and scoop that up and put it back into the feed trough, and your cleanliness level will maintain 100%. So it is sort of cheating, but considering that I play my maps with hired help, you know, I talk about my hired help from time to time, that's just sort of a virtual task that I have assigned to them. So anyway, I realized soon after that no, I was not losing my mind. I basically had not dropped those forks anywhere. I have the little Manitou telehandler up here at the dairy farm that I do all of my bell handling with, and you know, I've just used the Sammy for the sheep stuff, so I'm hauling hay or hay out to them using the pallet forks, because they work just fine as a bell spike, and of course moving the wool pallets around. And so then I started remembering, okay, well, and actually the forks that have the pallet forks that went missing that are in question are the CSZ modded pieces of equipment. Very nice collection of different attachments for the front end type loader type application. So you've got a varied selection of bell forks, pallet forks, a few different buckets and such as that. Some of them have the auto loading features, like the pallet forks that I use for handling the wool pallets. You can turn on the auto loading feature of that, and essentially it'll scoop up the pallet when you come close to it, and that's what I've often called the bipolar profit method. Come on, Jerry, as I get my boom out there on a fence post. What I've often called the bipolar profit method of bell handling, and I had saw that the first time on Reefy 1952's channel, and that's how he referred to it as it, and that's what I'm calling it as well. So anyway, so I remembered the CSZ mod. I'd taken an update for it a few days ago when it was released, and but I had not used it. I had not used the pallet fork since that update, and also I have not got around to actually purchasing any pallet forks or anything like that on Lone Star. I do have the Manitou on Lone Star, and I have the Kerfab Bell forks that I like to use, and that's sort of that's going to be kind of the one thing that I think that you will see across all of my maps, is you're probably going to always see that Manitou telehandler, because I believe it's the only non-articulated telehandler that we have, and it makes it much easier for moving stuff. And that Kerfab bell spike, because it's fantastic. It's got the locking feature on it, and you can basically handle 4 bells at a time, and that's a super great feature. So anyway, trying to make a long story short here, I've been yapping on about this long enough. In the process of updating the CSZ mod, unfortunately it removed the mod from my inventory of purchased items, so that's kind of bad. But you know, hey hi, you know, hi ho, it's not that big of an investment. It was only a couple of $1,000 if my memory serves me correctly. But also it removed it from where it had been seen in the store. So let me just back up our tractor here for a moment, and I'm going to come around, and this might be good information for you, especially if you have this mod. Okay, so hang on, let me get back into position here. Let me just back up here where I want to be. I should have done a headland around this field, but anyway. So let me bring up the store. So before the update, CSZ had their own category, and I think it was probably down here on the left-hand side. You didn't have to scroll very far to find it, and it was its own category, CSZ. They have since the update, they have been moved under the front loaders category, which makes sense because that's what these attachments are. But there's a large number of them. You know, so it starts here with this one, and we scroll, we're continuing to scroll. So you see all the various attachments that they have. And it was kind of nice because they were in their own category, but this is okay too. But in any event, these are the little pallet forks that were in question that I used, $2,600 for them. And they basically went away, so we did have to purchase them again. Not too big of a deal, but that's what we had to do. And of course now they're in their own category, and that's fine too. So if you are using those CSZ products, and if you have taken the update, and of course the CSZ mod is part of the Giants mod hub, and so you can take the update through the game, and all of a sudden your bell spikes, your equipment have disappeared, then you're going to need to buy them back again. So it might be in your best interest to, especially if you have a lot of CSZ products, if you've purchased pretty much everything that mod offers, you're either going to want to do one of two things. Before you take the update, sell everything, and then take the update, buy everything back, or more or less take the update. You're going to lose all of them. I doubt very seriously if you're getting credited, because I don't think the game works that way. And then just sort of calculate how much all of them cost, and then cheat that money back in to make, especially if you're playing in a very tight career mode kind of scenario, and especially if you're just starting out. With us here, it wasn't that big of a deal. That's the only product that I'm using from CSZ on this map is that bell fork. And so you know, less than $3,000. We've got quite a bit of money in the kitty, so that's not a problem. All right, well, we're almost done with this field, and so I'm going to go ahead and let the time continue, let the video run. We're at about 25 minutes or so, and so you know, this is our 50th episode, and I'm just really pleased to be able to play this map. I mean, this is such a beautiful map. I'm really, you know, I know that many of you have said that, well, you'll continue to watch as long as I'm playing this map because you also have very, you know, very good feelings about this map. But, you know, unfortunately, I know that not everyone shares that. There may be some people that have stopped watching this series because it is in its second year, and we're basically, you know, coming back around to essentially doing everything again. And so I'm not going to change my mind. We are going to finish this series out, but we're also going to basically end this series in this map, in gameplay on this map, at, you know, after winter. We'll probably come in maybe one game day with one episode at just to kind of say, okay, you know, we've survived winter and we're into spring, but you know, now it's done, and I will come up with some cooler storyline than that to do. But I will be ending the episode or the series at that particular time, and I don't know how many more episodes we've got between now and then. I would, if I had to guess, and please don't hold me to this, I would say we've got at least another 10 to 12 episodes, because we haven't even hit the harvest season. Which, speaking of harvest, all of our crops are growing very nicely. We've got one more field to plant, and that is that very tiny field that was planted in sugar beets last season. And so that was sort of one of the fields that was sort of already planted for us by the map, you know, the map modder, and so we just left it at sugar beets, and that's what we did. So we harvested those sugar beets. That's a very tiny, small field, and so what I'm going to do is we're not going to plant sugar beets back there again. I'm going to plant soybeans on it. I'm going to do it off camera, and it is just simply a test. It is just simply a test, because if you watched my Pine Cove Farm series, which did end recently because of some conflicts, or not conflicts, but some issues with the whole growth cycles, because I've changed out the mod, seasons mod, several times over the course of the history or the life of that season. And hang on, let me do this and stop talking for a second. I am going to plant, like I said, I am going to plant soybeans there, because in Pine Cove Farm we had the issue with those disappearing. Of course, the joke is, around PCSG anyways, the joke is that Reefy 1952, Mike, snuck in the middle of the night and stole my, harvested my soybeans. But it was a really weird thing, because they were there, you know, they were there one day and they were gone the next day, and it had said harvested, and you know, I'm playing two maps. That's all I'm playing. I don't have a private, you know, I don't have a private personal map save that I'm playing some other map. I'm playing two maps, and for the majority of everything, all the tasks that are done, is it's pretty much all done, you know, on camera. Very limited, you know, off-camera stuff gets done. So I struggled for a few minutes thinking, okay, did we harvest this field somehow, some way? And of course, you know, at that particular point in time, I think we were sort of in the fall harvest on Lawfolds in the first year, and we were, you know, just starting to come out of spring, almost had all the planting and everything done, and we were looking quite forward to starting the harvest on Pine Cove. And so I started thinking, okay, did we harvest this and I've just lost my mind? but that wasn't the case. It was some kind of a little glitch with the Seasons mod, which they have said that they've resolved, but I want to test it for them. So that's what we're going to do. Meanwhile, I'm going to wrap this episode up and just say thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate you watching all of my episodes. I appreciate you telling your friends, getting out on social media and doing that kind of stuff. And if you're new to the channel and you are not a subscriber, please subscribe. Please consider subscribing. You know, there is some motivation that I get from seeing my subscriber count go up, and it's just really cool, and I really appreciate that. And so become a subscriber, like my videos, please. That's also a good motivation. And also, please check out PCSG as well as the Three Dudes Gaming Network. Both of those are very great communities. They're communities that I help run. I'm one of the three dudes on the Three Dudes Gaming Network, and I'm also an admin. But I'm also an administrator and moderator over on PCSG and have been for almost 2 years now. So come over there, go either of the two places and hang out with us. Very laid back, very relaxed community. And we're not going to tell you, if you ask a question, we're not going to tell you, well, did you Google that or did you search for that or anything like that. We're going to help you answer the question as best as we can. We've got years and years and years of experience. We've even got some folks that have some real world farming experience, and so from time to time, they've really helped us to understand, well, why do we do things this way? Why do we do things that way? And keep in mind, the very vast majority of folks that I know, that I consider to be my dear friends, that I've met through the hobby, through the farm sim hobby, as well as the communities and everything that I've just spoke about. The majority of them have no real world farming experience at all. Some do, various experiences, but the majority, don't. And so we're all just, we all have professional careers, or we do something in the real world that is not necessarily related to farming, and we don't know all the answers. And so it's great that when we can meet people that have some real world experience. It's just like in the flight sim community. We would occasionally stumble onto enthusiasts that, were 737 pilots or 747 pilots or whatever, and could really help explain, and not necessarily get so deep into the mud that, that you would need, that's kind of the knowledge that you would expect to need to know to actually pass your pilot certification and all that kind of stuff, but just general stuff, just general high level stuff. And so that's what we're doing on PCSG and Three Dudes as well. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Episode 50, this is a special episode for me, and I'm glad that I got to share this with all of you. And again, I really hope that this young person, or this person, I don't know, he could be an old person, I don't know, but anyway, I hope that Stussy or Stussy makes another map. And if any of you know if he's got something in production, in development, please let me know, because I am still sort of on the fence. Well, not really. That would be kind of painful to be on the fence, but yeah, we're on the fence now, right? Okay. So I'm still a little bit undecided as far as which map is going to replace Lawfolds. Now, we've still got a lot of work to do on Lawfolds because we're just now coming up to the harvest stuff. I'm not sure how many episodes we will see on this game day. Our animals are in good shape. It's not going to take me a lot of effort to get them all filled up on stuff, and we've done a lot of animal feeding and stuff in the past, so this might be the only episode that we see in this game day. And we'll just see. I think I'll probably get the AI to finish up the fertilization on some of these fields for at least for this game day, and then maybe we'll fast forward and get into the next game day. But in any event, I am looking for a replacement, sort of a British style farming map that would be of interest. And I tell you what, with the quality of work that this person has put into Lawfolds, I would have to say, is probably going to slide into that category of the way I think about map modders and map developers. He's going to be like almost like what I think of Stevie. And of course, Stevie is retiring. Cherry Hills came out just last week. We have that, by the way, on PCSG. We will have all of Stevie's mods on PCSG, so don't worry about that. They're gonna stay around, but you know he's done. Cherry Hills was his last piece of work, so. I don't know when I will play Cherry Hills. Most likely I will, because I think I've played all of Stevie's maps, and again, it might just be a private play, or it might go on the Three Dudes Gaming Network at some point in time as well, our multiplayer server. So anyway, I've rambled on long enough. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all for sticking out for a couple of extra minutes here while I sort of reminisce over the beauty of Lawfolds and everything. And we still have some work to do here, so it's not like I'm singing the song of ending it. It's going to continue to go on. I think probably another 10 episodes or so, because we're going to be in harvest season pretty soon, and we've got to do BGA stuff and all of that. So thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate it. Thank you for your friendship. That's the most important thing. And take care. God bless you all. Bye-bye.